Hena will be joining in the middle. Let's see. Okay. So yesterday we have seen bringing in multiple tables and the association. How if the same unique name of the field auto association, if it is a different name, how we associate that, selecting it from the drop down. We have seen that. So now, we have seen almost all the things from the data source page. So we are now moving to the visualization page. So two options are pending that I will show you little later. So now, so we are into this is your data visualization page. So here, so we have the left pane of your data visualization page. This is called as your data pane. Data pane. So this data pane comprises of data tab and there is a analytics tab. And in this data tab, you can find the data source information. So one or two, how many data sources you are going to add, it will be there available. And this dimensions, you see the blue colored, all your field are segregated into this dimensions. And your green colored, all your measures will be there in the measure shells. Measure shells. So the dimension shells, all the dimension field will be there. In the measured shells, all your measures field will be there. And there is two more shells will be there. That will not be there by default. When created, that will be formed. What are all they? One is a sets, SETS sets, and the other one is parameters, PARAMETERS, parameters. So when you create Tableau sets, so there is one more shelf will be created below this measure shells. When you create a parameters, then there is a one more shells will be below your sets or measures will be there. So now we didn't create it, so there is no shells for that. And as you know, for each and every chart, so you need two axes. So one is the x-axis, the second one is the y-axis, right? So one is an x-axis and the second one is y-axis. So here you can see there are two shells we have, column shells and this is row shells. If you place a field in your column shells, then that is called as your x-axis. If you place your field in the row shells, then that is called as your y-axis. So column shells is your x-axis and row shells is your y-axis. So basically, as per the standard convention practices, some others will say you always you should place your dimensions in your column shells. Always you should place your measures in your row shells. They used to say, because that is the standard practice we expect. For example, so now I wanted to take this category. So this category is what? This is a dimension field. So let me place this in the column shells. Just drag and drop here. That's all. Just drag and drop here. What is the distinct values of your category? There are three distinct values: furniture, supplies and technology. So just I didn't see this, slightly you expand this. So automatically it shows furniture, office supplies and technology. So this is your category members. Means what I told you, field is a category. The distinct values of the field will be dimension members. So what is your members? Furniture, office supplies and technology. Now I want to see the sales of this. So sales, where is it? It is here. So drag this and place it in the row shelves. So this is occupying your y-axis. Sales will be occupying your y-axis and your dimension members occupying your x-axis, right? So it is displayed, right? But this is the standard practice. But if you wanted, you can keep this category in your row shells and keep this sales in your column shells. You can keep this. So that was shown vertically. Now it is showing horizontally. That's all. So if somebody says you that always you should place your dimension in the column shells, always you place your measures in your row shells, so it is a standard practice, but there is a swap option is available. What is swap? So you want to place this into that into this. So now I have category in the row shells and my sum of sales in the column shells, I want to swap exactly. Click on this, it will swap. Click on this, it will swap. So if it is this way, then why this swap is given? So that it is displaying horizontally, right? So in that way, you can counter argue with the person who says, who is telling that to you. So there is no predefined definition that always you should keep your dimension in your column shells, always you should place your measures in your row shells. There is no predef, but it is a standard practice we adopt. If it is there, it looks nice, but your client wants a horizontal bar. So I cannot say to the client, no, horizontal bar means your category will be in row shells. As per my standard practice, it will not be. You cannot say. Client is our master. Whatever he expects, you have to display as such, right? So give me a minute. They are calling me. Sorry. So this is the scenario. So if client expects you, I wanted a horizontal bar, so then you cannot say to the client that no, my standard practice is that I will keep this category, this is a dimension field, I will place this in the column shells, and the sum of sales I will place it in the row shells. You cannot say, because they are the masters. So what they expect, what is there in the mind, we have to fulfill, right? So accordingly we can place. So your column shells is your x-axis and row shells is your y-axis, and this is your dimension shells and this is your measure shells, and put together this is called as your data pane. So now suppose I am designing, so this data pane, can I able to minimize? If you click this, it will minimize. So this canvas is expanded. So now I want to see some other fields. No problem. Go here, click on this. So it will be maximized. So here, click on this, it will minimize, and again go here, click on this, it is maximized. Okay. So this data pane, and there is, this is column shells and row shells I told you. This is your pages shells, and this is your filter shells, and this is your marks card. Pages shells, filter shells, marks card. One minute. So pages shells, filter shells, and marks cards. So whatever you place, the field you place in the pages, so that field, suppose for example, I place a category in pages. So what will happen? Category is having three distinct values. So each and every value of your category will be shown in the individual pages. For example, I have 10 cities or 10 states in my dataset. If I place the state field in pages, each and every state will be shown displayed in the individual pages. For example, the same thing. So if I show, suppose for example this, if I show the state in this pages, so what will happen? So each and every state will be shown in the individual pages. Now you see here, this is for Alabama, right? And then, so the next one, it is Arizona. So now I want to display the value for this. So just click on this. Click on this, it shows the value. 1918, 1275 and 222822. So what is the state, previous state? Alabama. So it is this. There is no furniture, office supplies. And only the technology I have value. The technology value also it is 181. Right? So now, so you can see here Alabama and Arizona, and this is your California, and this is your Colorado, and Delaware, and Florida, and Georgia, and Idaho, so Illinois, so like this, Indiana, and Kentucky, so like this it goes, right? So if I place my state, the state is having a distinct 50 values, 50 members. So each and every member, it will be showing in the individual pages. Individual pages. Okay. So this is how this pages shelf will work. So now, if the same state, if I place it in the filter shelves. So now let me check all and show this. It will be shown in the single page. Now I can filter. Suppose I don't want to see some 4-5 states. So suppose for that, so I go here, edit this filter and say I don't want to see this Idaho, or I say that I want to see only California and Illinois and Florida, right, and Chicago. So Chicago is not there, so it is not a state, right? So New Jersey, right, and Michigan, right, and New York. So only this 6 states. So how I say 6 states I selected, I forgot how to. So now immediately you can see here 6 of 36 values. The selection is selected 6 of 36 values, right? So you can see this. Then if I go for Ohio, so now it is 7 of 36. So this way you should not go again and check 1, 2, 3. So no need to do that. So you can see here straight away selected 7 of 36 values, right? And suppose Washington, so 8, Wisconsin 9, Pennsylvania 10. So total 10 I displayed. Now before I am filtering, it is showing 59, 48 and 72. When I filter for only this 10, it shows 40, 31 and 56. So whatever the field I place it in my filter shows, so I can filter it. So now the next question will come, whether I will filter or the user will filter. If you want, you can also filter, or if you wanted, user also can filter. What does it mean? So it means, suppose you are giving the control to the user. So suppose for example, control, yesterday I told you, right? Yesterday or day before I was telling you, my data set is one, but the same data set I will use in 3 different dashboards. One dashboard I say that level A data and the local indicator. Another dashboard I will be using level A and local indicator, and I go for a treaty number. So I use that in the data source filter. If I forget to use that in the data source filter, I can use it in the filter shelves. Means I myself, as per the functionality, I filter that, mandatorily that filter is available for me. I am not giving that filter control to the user. That is filtered already. But suppose I want to give this control to show filter. So this control is shown to the user. Now user wants to see all, he can select this all. Or user wants to see only California, so uncheck this and California you can see. And he wanted to see Illinois, so he can see, right? So he wanted to see Michigan also, so he can select. So this filter will be available for the users in the dashboard. So either the filter you can yourself control, or else you can give the control to the users as well. So user can give. So suppose for example this data set, this dashboard is having 3 years, 2017, 16 and 15, 3 years data set you have. So now the user says that if I wanted to see, I can see one year or 2 years. It means Suppose my selection should always show only 1 year. Either I want to see 2017 or I want to see 2016 or I want to see 2015. So that is the scenario. So then you can give a single value filter or you can give a multiple value filter. The years you can give a single value filter when you go to the quarters. So quarters I cannot say single value, right? It would be a multiple values, either quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So either you want to see all the quarters or you want to see only one quarter, two quarter, three quarter. That you can decide, because in a year I have 4 quarters. The quarters I cannot say that I will show you only a single value. So that you can decide. So now you see here there is an option available. So this will come little later. So single value list, multi-value list. Okay, this will come little later. Just I am giving you an overview about what is the impact when you keep the fields in the filter shells. Right. Now the next one is the marks card. So hi Hannah, I was explaining about this data pane and this row and column shells and pages shells you joined. So now this filter shell.
Right, sir.
Yeah.
Right.
So next one is the marks card. So the marks card, you could see there are options available. Bar, line, area, square, circle, shape, text, filled map, pie, gone bar and polygon. Right? So these are all the marks card available. What is the default one you are selecting? That will be the automatic. So here in my chart the bar is shown. So automatic is also bar. Suppose the same I wanted to change this to line. Suppose for example this I wanted to change it to some other pie, right? So now you see my automatic become, so earlier it was bar, right? So now nothing is there. So it will be like this square now. So now suppose circle, so then you can see this automatic nothing is there. So like this you can change. So now this is circle, looking at circle. I want to change this as a bar. You can change this a small one. And or no, I wanted to change this as a pie. You can change this. So this way you can do a change. So now this is a line. But for the line I need a date column, period column. So that's why it was not showing. So there are some limitations that we will see one by one. So the marks card basically, so it will change your shapes. What are all the shapes it can be changed? So you can see here bar, line, area, square, circle, shape, text, etc. etc. So these options are available. And for every marks, it has 5 controls. It has 5 controls. And you would have seen some changes happen. So now, so let me go back to the initial stage. Right. So I placed here this category and somehow says, but somehow for some property it has come here. You would have seen this. It has come here. Nothing was there in my row and the column shells. Right. So that is why, because if this control also will play a vital role. These 5 controls. Every marks by default, this 5 control will be there. So one is your color, the second one is your size, third one is your label, and fourth one is your detail, and fifth one is your tooltip. The label is nothing but, suppose I showed this label, right? If I am not showing here, if I am not clicking here, suppose what is this? This is sales. So take the sales and put it in the label. So it will show the value. Either if you want, you can show the label here or else you click it here. So both are one and the same. Okay. So that is what the meaning of your label. So now coming to the colors. So now the color, suppose is furniture, office supplies and technology. All are in same colors, blue color. Now I want to show furniture, office supplies and technology in 3 different colors. How is it possible? So what is it? It is a category. So now I go take this category and place it in the color. So now you see here. So furniture is showing in blue, office supplies is shown in orange, and technology is shown in red. No. I want to change the color. No worries. So now when I place my object field in the color, so there is one called color legend. There are 3 types of legend we have. This is called as legend. Legend. Legend is one of the term in business intelligence reporting tool. Any of the business intelligence reporting tool. Legend we used to call. Legend. Legend. So there are three types of legend here in Tableau. What are all they? One is a color legend, the second one is a size legend, and the third one is your measure values legend, right? So there is a measure values legend. So this is your color legend. When this will form? When you place your field on your colors control, color mark control, then this color legend will be there. Why it is used? It will just display furniture, whatever you are seeing here, the furniture is in blue, office supplies is in orange, and technology is in red. But I want to change the color. So it looks okay, all these three are displaying in three different colors, but I want to change the color. No worries. So go here, click on this, edit colors. So here I have a color palette already available. Whatever format you wanted, you can select. Now this is automatic. Now let me take this one. So furniture. So let me select this and show in this purple color. And office supplies, let me show this blue. And technology, let me show this color. So apply automatically. So technology, I don't want this. So let me go and take this. So it will show. So if you wanted to change your color of your legend, you can pick it from your color palette, any of the colors you can pick it and you can display. And one more term when discussing on the colors, normally this static means this quantitative, you will show in different colors. Suppose for example, we have Syed, Henna or Sana or Sahid, so also and Talal. So all we 5 distinct student names. So I want to show each of you in different colors. It would be shown. But now I am taking the marks 0 to 100, right? Suppose one is of 80, another is of 85, another is of 88, 90, 95. So how the colors of your measures you will show. So you can show your members dimensions, the distinct value of the dimension, the members will be shown in in the different colors. If I have 3 members, 3 different colors. If I take a subcategory, it would be 26 members. For example, you see here, I take a subcategory. Instead of this category, I take a subcategory. So this is around, I have I have 17 rows. So 17 different colors it will be shown. So now this color, let me not take this category. So let me take this subcategory in this color. So each and every one will be shown in different colors. So that is fine because it is a static, distinct, quantitative value. So I am showing it in different color. How I will show the measures then? So the measures normally when it is having a lower limit and a higher limit. So suppose your lower limit can be 0 to 100 or your lower limit may be minus to plus. It may be. So the minus or the lower limit of zeros will start with a different color and the maximum value will be in the different color. 2 different colors and there will be a merging of this colors will be there. That we'll see later. So when it comes to the colors, so basically when the dimensions, distinct colors will be shown. In case of measures, 2 colors or this combination of 2 colors will be displayed. So that 2 colors might be fixed based on your higher and the lower limits, lower value range of your display, of your field, measure field, whichever you are displaying, right? So sales, normally the sales will not be negative value, but profit can be a negative value, correct? So I am in loss, so it is negative. But sales, I will not be selling a product and and giving money also to you. So sales will not be a negative value. Sales may be 0 or 0.5 fills, but it would be in the positive value. So when you are placing a sales in the row shells or the column shells, when you place the sales in the color shells, so then it will show from 0 to maximum value. But when you place a profit, it may show minus to positive value. So it depends. Okay. So this, when you place the fields in your color shells, so color marks controls, so then that is called as color legend. The same I can show it in the size. So size, how it will show. So now let me remove this subcategory. So and here also I remove this subcategory. So now I go for some other segment. So segment, I have 3 segments: consumer, corporate and home office. Let me bring this segment in the color, right? So segment in the color. Fine. So 3 different colors are there. So now the same, suppose for example this sales. So the sales I put again in the size. So if I put the size, you see here, this is smaller. So it is the width is less. This is slightly higher from this. So this width is different and this width is different. So now I want to increase means this I placed in the size. So this I can control using this sizes, right? So I can control. So if you wanted to expand, you can expand. So like this. So now when I place it in the size control, you see this is a legend, size legend. The smaller one is in the range of 12929, and if this size means it is 20,000, if this size means it is 25,000, if this size means it is 30,000, it is explained. So the second legend is your size legend. Okay, is your size legend. And the third one is the measure values legend that I will explain you in the tomorrow's class. So size legend. And the next one, suppose I am showing here in the displaying here the sales, right? So it is one measure. But if I add another measure in the same axis, what will happen? Normally, you are plotting a graph. So in our schools, we used to have the graph sheets. So you have your dimension and your measure. One is x-axis, the another one is the y-axis. Which is your x-axis? Column shows. Which is your y-axis? Row shows. So in x-axis, I placed the, suppose for example, if I swap this, I place the segment, and the y-axis, I place the sum of sales. So what will happen? You will be thinking, what will happen if I place another measure in this shelves? So then your axis will be split into two. So for example, I place this profit here, this X. So your axis will be split. If your requirement is like this, you can place it like this. Right? So now another the discount I wanted to place it here. So you place. So it will split. So I wanted to show this quantity. You can split. You can show this. Right? So you can show this. So in the same sales, so suppose for example, if I am doing this, the sales, profit, discount and your quantity. Right? So why it is always showing this? Because in this text, you are shown the sum of sales. Now, if I click this, so this will show your sales. This will, yeah, any questions? Right. So now you understand selecting this and placing this in the label, what is the difference? Now only one axis is there, selecting this and selecting this, placing the particular field in this label will not make difference. One and the same. But suppose here what I will do, I have to place all these 4 fields here. But you see here when I try to place this in the label, for everything it is showing label as sales. Now when I bring this profit here, so now it will show profit for what? You see, it will be confused now where to show. So it is confused. So you should not do that. In that scenario, so you have to use this. So this shows the respective measures what is the label. Now you clear? Placing here and placing enabling this, what is the difference? Okay, and also when the performance optimization, so you should not place more fields in the marks control. Multi-marks visualization will impact your performance of your dashboard. Multi-marks visualization. Multi-marks means you are placing more fields in your marks. So that is you can look for the performance optimization techniques. They say multi-marks visualization should be avoided. You should reduce placing more marks in your more fields in your marks. So suppose in these 4 fields if I place in the label, so that still will not show the right one. Instead, if I click here, nothing is placed here in the mark shows. So it is placed in your respective measures. But always you should not place multiple measures. If the requirement client says, as I told you, he is the master. If he wants to display, you have to do. No problem. But normally one measures we used to place. And suppose one measure we used to place. Okay, so now I have given an idea. So one measure and more measures if you are placing in the respective measures, how you are distinguishing. So you are sharing your axis If you are placed in a x-axis, that x-axis is shared to the number of measures. 2 measures means 2 measures, 3 measures means 3 measures, 4 measures means 4 measures you are shared. And there is one more concept called dual axis and synchronous axis that I will come later. So if you place multiple measures for that question, my answer is yes, but it will share your axis. Okay. And
So, Shashi,
yeah.
what do you suggest that if we were to do a multi-measure visualization, so what the best practice is? It shows in the rows and columns, or you should put them in the marks?
No, no. Means normally when you are placing, obviously you have to place the measures in the row shelves.
No, sure. Okay.
Row shelves. So because your y-axis, column shelf is your x-axis and row shelves is your
Mm.
y-axis. Basically, you should place your measures in the row shelves. Give me.
Mm. And one more thing, on the shelves, where
1 minute.
the groups?
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry. So basically the measures we will be placing in the row shelves. But if the client expects you wanted to place it in the column shelves, no problem. You can place it. It is not a problem. So, so that is the one. So now the size is fine. So now,
I have one question, Shashi.
yeah,
When we create the groups, will that be placed in the sets per shelf, or it will be going to parameter shelf? You know how when we create the groups?
groups, right? You are asking about groups.
Yes, yes. Will that be a different shelf?
Suppose if you create the groups for your dimensions, you can best practice. You can place it in the column shelves, x-axis. Suppose if you are creating a group for your measures, then you can place it in your row shelves. Simple.
Okay, so it will not be a separate shelf. It will just go into respective shelf of dimension or measure.
Yes, yes.
But
Groups
the
are
set and
there in the same shelves. If you are creating for
okay,
dimension, it will be there in the dimension.
okay, all right,
And
okay,
slowly I will show you the differences, everything.
okay,
Okay, fine.
okay, thanks.
So now the next one is the details. Suppose for example why this detail is used. So here in the display I am showing. So in the display I am showing only the sales. But I want to probably if you go here in the tooltip, it is shown segment is consumer and sales is 32587. So here 22928. The segment is corporate. When comes here, the segment is home office. Its sales is 12929. Suppose if I place my profit, so now it will show. So you see here profit and sales it is shown. But I don't want to display this profit here. But can I have my profit in this tooltip? Right? So consumer sale is this you are displaying, but my profit can you display this in the tooltip profit and quantity? Is it possible? So for that, so let me bring this profit and put it in the detail. So now you see here, so the profit and sales. No, no, no. So this is fine, but my profit should be below, sales should be above. For that, you can go here, click on this tooltip, and here you see this, the profit is a cut, and paste below, and automatically you can show the sales above and your profit. So this is the use of your details and the total. So now I want to show the quantity also. So go here and put this quantity here. So now you see here this quantity is there. So now it is not shown. So no worries. You can go here and click on this. You can add. So quantity column, and you can have this sum of quantity. So this way you can show this quantity. Now you see here quantity is shown 735, 497 and 202. Right? So now you see here quantity. It is. So this is how this detail and tooltip will be used. So now we have seen color, size, label, detail and tooltip. These are all the 5 controls by default available for all the marks card. But some of the marks card will have the 6th control also. Not all the marks. Only a few will have the 6th control. What are all they? So now this is a bar. So you have only 5. When I go to the line, there is the 6th one called as path. And when I go to this area, so again 5. The same chart you see is how it is changing from bar to line. Now it is an area. So now I go to the square. So this is also 5 controls. When I go to the circle, so this is also 5 controls. When I go to this shape, so this will have the 6th control shape. So now I wanted to show this in this way, or this way, color fixed, or this way, or this way. So you can change it, or more shapes you wanted. So suppose for example, I wanted to go with some, so I want to show this way. So you can show this, right? So now I want to show this one. So it will be shown. So whichever the way you format you wanted, you can show this. For shapes, I have the 6th control. Then I go to the text, nothing is there. And when I go to this field map, so nothing is there. And when I go to this pipe, so there is an angle, right? This angle, when it is used, the angle you can change. Okay. So then there is a gun bar. So here also I have 5 controls. When I go to the polygon, so there I will be having a bar, the 6th control. So line, shape, pie and polygon. These 4 marks will have 6th control. This one only 5 controls available. So we have for your data and row and column shells and pages shells, filter shells and marks card. And one more, you can see here, this is your status bar. Underneath your data pane, there is a status bar. This is having 3 sections. Suppose when I go to the sheet, nothing is there because I didn't place any fields here. So first I bring this segment. So now two items are available. What is that? So one is a marks. The second one is row by column. So marks. So what is the distinct value? That is what marks. So what is the distinct value? 3 marks. So now instead of this segment, so let me use subcategory. So it will show how many marks? 17 marks. So suppose for example I will give an idea. So now my product name is there. How many distinct products are there in this product name column? So how to check that? So no need to worry. So just take this product name here and see here how much marks, 646 marks. So it means the product name field having 646 distinct values in my data set, right? So you can understand. So now let's take this. Now I want to see how many customers are there. So let me go take this customer. It shows 247 marks. So 247 customers, distinct customers are there in this data set. Okay. So this is how we can see this status bar. So this will show your distinct value of the members for that particular field. Right. That is what your 247 marks. And this is 247 rows by 1 column. This will show row by column. It is showing how many rows. This is 247 rows. How many? 1 column. Right? 247 rows by 1 column. Suppose when I take this region here. So now I place this region here. It says 272 rows by one column. So again this is one column, right? So now when I change this, you see here. So 247, this is 272 and this is 272 marks. This is for rows and this is 247 rows by 4 columns. It means what? So 272 minus of 240, some 25 rows which doesn't have anything. So that is the meaning. Right? So 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4 and this is 247 rows. Right? So my total customer is of 272, but if I have the values for these 4 columns, only 247 customers is having the 14 values. Means 25 customers doesn't have any value in this region wise. In this region, that is the meaning. So now when I place a sale, here. So now the third option will come. What it says, the sum value of my sales will be displayed, right? The sum value, suppose instead of the sale, if I place this profit, so it says sum of profit, the total sum of this profit is 223,232. So there are 3 items available in your status bar. The first one will show your distinct value of your column which is placed in the row, and this will be your rows by columns. If it is a one field place, number of rows of the particular value and by one column. And if you place a measure, then this will show your aggregation, sum of your that measure, total sum of the particular measure will be shown in this status bar. When I am minimizing this, you see here the status bar rightly shift. It shift from here to here, right? When I maximize this, so it will be back to the place. So underneath your data pane, so this status bar, right? So this is your data pane. I have data tab and analytics tab. I will come analytics tab later. And this is your data source. Today I have one data source. Tomorrow I can add more data sources there. And these are all your dimension shows, measure shows. Initially, if there is no sets, no parameters, there is no sets and parameter shells will be there. If you create a set, automatically there will be a set shells will be created. If you create a parameter, automatically the parameter shells will be created. So all this put together, this is called as data pane. If you want to minimize your pane, minimize this, or you wanted to maximize it, maximize it. And row shows and column shows, and pages shows, filter shows, and the marks tab. And this is your status bar. And now this is your show me. Show me. So if you want, click this. If you double click, it will be minimized. Click this. So total, there are 24 types of charts available. Right? 24 types of charts available. 3 in a row, total 8 rows are there. 24 charts are available. So what is the name of the chart? For that chart, how many default minimum dimension, minimum measures is required will be displayed to you on hovering of each and every chart. Suppose if you hover on this, it says this is a text table and it requires one or more dimension and it requires one or more measures. So when I go here, this is a heat maps. So this says that one or more dimensions, one or two measures. So when I go here, this is a highlight tables and only one measure is enough and one or more dimension is required. So one or more dimension means what? You can add 1, 2, 3, 4. But one measure means for this minimum one measure is enough, sufficient enough. So when I go to this is a symbol map, this is a field map, this is a pie chart, and this is your horizontal bar, and this is your staked bar. What is the difference between horizontal bar? The horizontal bar is horizontal, means your dimension is placed in the row shells and your measure is placed in the column shells. Then it is a horizontal bar, right? So the same thing. Suppose for example your region. So your dimension is placed in the row shells and your measure is placed in the column shells. Then this is a horizontal bar. You see here, it is highlighted. The staked bar. Staked bar is if you are placing one above the other. So suppose for example I have a year. So in a year I have a quarter. So the quarters are piled up. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. The piling up of this quarter field in a year field is called as staked bar. For example, suppose for example I take this order. So this is a year. So this will default show year. So now I place this 6. So now I have this. Now I wanted to take this bar. So it is showing as a bar. So now let me have this quarter. So then what happens? This is there. So now I want this to pile up. So I put this in the color. So now you see here it is pile up. In 2011 I have quarter 1, 4, 3, 2 and 1. So it is piled up one above the other. So this is called as your staked bar. Right? So how to do this? I have done something, that I will teach you, not a problem. So what is staked bar? It is one above the other. It's piling up your values. Suppose for example I have a quarter. So in that quarter I wanted to pile up your month. For example here instead of this, so I go take a quarter. So this is Q1, Q2, Q3. So this I take this as a month. So then this Q1, so March, February and January, April, May, June and July, August, September. So in a quarters, I am piling up the months. So this is called as staked bar. And suppose, no, I want to place this side by side. So go take this. So this is side by side. This side by side. So horizontal bar, staked bar, side by side bar. All are bar charts. But because of this presentation, it is distinguished into three different types of.
Shashi, can you repeat stake one more time?
Sorry, Hina?
The stake bar.
Yeah. Stacked bar basically, if you have two dimension, the one dimension which is relative to the previous primary and it is piled up. For example, I have a year quarter combinations or quarter monthly combinations, right? Or suppose sometimes a state city combinations, right? So in a state I have two cities. So that two cities related to the particular state should be piled up because my state total sale is 100,000. So my city 1 is 53,000 and my city 3, city 2 is 47,000. So this 100,000, how I distribute to city 1, city 2. So then I will put it in the state. So my quarter is having 3 months. So the quarter total sale is 90,000. So the Q1 is 31 and Q2 is 27 and Q3 is 32. So Q1 is January 31 and February is 27 and March it is 33. So total it is 90,000. So I wanted to pile up, show that distinguish. So Q1 is total 90, but still I wanted to break down into months. So but it not to be side by side, it has to be staked. That 90, suppose for example 5 subjects you have. Out of 500 marks you scored 490. So total it is 490. Now I want to show that English, Hindi and science, mathematics and social science. So this individually you wanted to split. So either you can show side by side or you can pile up one above the other. That 490. So 95 1 and 92 and 99, 100 and 97. So I can pile up one above the other. So that is your staked bar. So clear, Hena? So probably when you go for a staked bar, you should need two dimensions. Two dimensions. How to do that? I will tell you a little later. So don't confuse yourself. First, you understand what is the definition. What is how your horizontal bar will look like. What is the use of your staked bar? How it looks like, and how your side by side bar will look like. Okay. So the bar we have three types of bar: horizontal, staked and side by side. Similarly, you will be having in the line chart also. So you see a single line and you have a side line discrete and you have a dual line, right? So when it comes to the line, there are two options we have: discrete and continuous. That I will explain in the tomorrow's class. So here we have a tree map and circle views and side by side circles, and we have area chart continuous discrete, and this is a dual combination, one bar and one line, and this is your scatter plot. So in the scatter plot, if you don't have dimension also fine, but it is a relationship between the variables, measures. So either you can have minimum 2 measures or maximum you can have 4 measures. That's why it is saying 2 to 4 measures. So scatter plot. And when you go, scatter plot is most important when you go for your R integration. So that is most important because normally in the statistical distributions, we used to more than your dimension, we will play around with the measures. So that time the plotting, scatter plot is most important. Okay. So, but you have a glance overview. What is scatter plot? A relationship between the measures. I am not worried about dimension. So minimum 2 measures, maximum 4 measures. You can have it. And histogram. It is again a kind of bar chart, but minimum to the maximum value. So it is a kind of histogram. So measures. So you have one measure. And then this is your dual combination, and you have scatter plot, histogram, and box and whisker. It is also called as box and whisker, right? So this basically you will have a minimum, maximum, median. So that charts this would be used. So I will explain when it comes to the different chart types. And this is your Gantt view and bullet graphs and your packed bubbles. So these are all the 24 types of charts available, right? So now, so this is there in the show me. So I click this. So now suppose for example, how you are placing the field, either drag and drop. Suppose I say category, I place this. I say sales, I place this. So you have this. So now, instead of this, I can do this way also. What do you want to place? Category and sales. So now select this, control and select this, go to the show me. Which chart you wanted. So with this one dimension and one measure, what are all the possible charts I can place? I can design. So that chart will be enabled. So you see, I can place heat maps, I can place highlight tables, I can place a pie chart, I can place a horizontal bar, I can place a staked bar, I can place a tree map, I can place a circle view, packed bubbles, and your box and bar. So these are all the charts are possible using one dimension and one measures. How it looks like? Just like this. It will be placing. It will place the category into row and the sum of sales into the circle. No, I want to see this highlight tables. So click this. So automatically that chart will be changed into the highlight tables. No, I want to see. So you see, this you have to practice. So you take one dimension and one measure and select and see where the placements happen. That you have to see. So now you see here, right. So everything is coming here. Nothing is there in the row and the column shows. Now let me go to the bar. So both is there in my row and the column. Nothing is there in the marks. So now I go to this. So now this category, it is piled up. And when I go to this area, so this is like this. So when I go to the circle, this will look like this. So when I go to this packed bubble, this will look like this. When I go to the box plot, this will look. So just I selected here one category and a sale. What are all the possible charts are available? Suppose in your requirement it says, please prepare a packed bubbles for this dimension and measures. Select the dimension and click on this. Automatically your packed bubble is ready. So no need to break the, oh, where for packed bubbles, where I should place this dimension, where I should place this measure. You should not get confused. So select this. But this is a learning curve for you. So selecting the dimensions and placing here where the placement happens, whether it is in the row or column or it is in the marks card, that you have to carefully monitor. Carefully monitor. That will help you when designing the complex charts. When designing the complex charts. For example, so nowadays recently there is one chart called word cloud we used to say. Word cloud. So word cloud means what is it? So it is the letters. Now I see this category is there and this sale is there. So I am selecting this pattern. So it is there. It is showing as a three different circles there, bubbles. And on seeing this, this is smaller, so this sales value is lesser. This is little larger, it is 59. This is little larger, it is 72. So on seeing the size of your bubble, you can understand the sale value of this office supplies is lesser than the other two. And the furniture and the technology is greater than all the other two. So you can see. Now the same I wanted to display in a word. So what I will do, so just I place this into the label, not label. So this is a size, right? So I place this color into the so now just everything is same. So Right, everything is same. This I change from circle to text. See here. So the same it is shown here. So this is called as your word cloud. Now I have only three, right? But suppose I am taking this subcategory. Instead of this category, let me take this subcategory text. So you see here, right? I have subcategories in this, which is highest sale subcategory phone, because this is the largest size. Copiers, chats, which is a very smaller one. You see here, fasteners, and where is the table? Table is here, right? So this is the way. So what word cloud you cannot see here, but these are all by practice you have to do, right? So you closely monitor. So suppose if I change this, what will happen? So if I change this, what will happen? You have to practice. Same, the packed bubbles. This will change it to packed bubbles. So the observation, so selecting the field, and that one only will help you when designing the multi-design charts. Okay. So this show me will help you not only the dragging and dropping your fields in the shelves. So selecting the fields and clicking your show me also will design a chart for you. Okay. So this is the use of your show me. And in next class we will see about this toolbar. So from the left to right we have options available. So that I will explain you in the next class. So today in the visualization we have seen all the other nuances of your visualization workspace. In the next class we will see this toolbar and what are all there in this MDA menu, and then we will get into the preparation of the data. So any questions?